Hello YouTube, how's everyone doing? It's Professional here. So today I thought that I would make a top 5 video for you guys, and this one is focusing on Reddit Online, and it's top 5 features and things that should be added in future updates. Now I made a video about a year and a half ago on this stuff, and ever since then we have the feedback page and a lot more stuff has been added to this game, and I really hope that Rockstar expands this game and adds more content. Some of the things that I said were actually added, some not, but these are 5 things that I personally think should be added to the game, and if you agree with me and you want these 5 things added to the game, then drop a like on this video, share this video, because more people see it, maybe Rockstar will too, and share it on Rockstar's feedback page, because the more people see it, maybe Rockstar will as well. So I hope that you guys enjoy this one, top 5 features and things that should be added in future updates. Starting off at number 5, we have finished the Jessica Leclerc story. And the Jessica Leclerc story is the main story for Reddit Online. And I know what some people are going to ask me. There's a story in Reddit Online? Yeah, there is. When you first start out the game, when you first make your character, the Reddit Online main protagonist, is actually framed for the murder of Jessica's husband, Philip Leclerc. And Jessica actually finds out that you're innocent and then breaks you out. And then the Reddit Online protagonist helps her in a series of missions to try to track down her husband's killer and also helps her assistant Horley. And we went on a crazy goose chase here looking for her husband's killer. Teddy Brown allegedly did it, who you kill in Fort Mercer, but he never admitted to who actually hired him. And then we actually had some DLC missions in May of 2019, almost a full year ago, and this is actually that mission in Blackwater in which he confronts Amos Lansing, who was actually Philip Leclerc's business partner, and he had actually forged documents to try to take over Philip Leclerc's business. And he is actually killed in this mission by Jessica, which leads to a major shootout. You find the forged documents, and then she goes on the run. She is now an outlaw at this point. And there is still one more conspirator left, which was Grace Lansing, and that was Amos's wife. So she is the last conspirator, and she knows the truth. She knows, what really happened to her husband. Was it really Teddy Brown who did it? Because just because Teddy Brown said he did it doesn't mean that he did it. So it still has to be confirmed exactly what happened. The last conspirator is still out there, and she says that she's going to be on the run. We haven't had a mission in this for almost a full year, so hopefully they wrap up this story. Even if it's 1 or 2 missions, I would still like to see an end to the story. I still want to see how this story ends. Who really killed her husband? What happened? Is there some giant conspiracy out there? So I really want to see how this story ends. So Rockstar, please don't forget about this story and please finish it one day. Next at number 4, we have add Blackjack and Liar's Dice. Now, when I made a video a year and a half ago, I said that they should add poker to Reddit Online, and they actually eventually did. They added poker in May of 2019, and that was actually one of the greatest additions, and every single time I stream Reddit Online, I always finish off the stream with playing poker, and I find it fun playing against other players. So I really hope they add Blackjack. Now, Blackjack, you can play it in the single player in Red Dead Redemption 2. Blackjack is the game that you would be playing against the dealer. You wouldn't be playing against players, but we still had this in GTA Online with the casino updates, so I would like to see them add Blackjack all over the map as other mini games that you can play, and you can bet money, and other people can sit down at the table and also play. They could add these into different saloons across the map, and they could do it something like the Barber, where you can't be shot, because when you go into the Barber and some of the saloons, you can't be shot, so they could also do that same thing, because if you could sit down here, people would shoot you, so kind of make like an invisible barrier, but add these Blackjack games like all over the map. Add Liar's Dice, that was in the original Red Dead Redemption, and it was also in the online for Red Dead Redemption 1. That was actually a lot of fun. And, they could also add other games like Dominoes. They could add Five Finger Filet. So there's a lot of different mini games they could still add. And you could add some of these games also to your camp to add variety. So Rockstar, please add more mini games for Reddit Online. Add more stuff that you can do around the map. Moving on to number 3, we have add properties and customization. Now, properties have been one of the most requested things in Reddit Online since launch. People have wanted properties, and I guess we kind of got our first property with the Moonshiner DLC, but when people say properties, they want a place that they can live at, someplace other than their camp, because, while the camps are nice, there's just so much potential in a lot of properties that we could have in this game. And I understand, we're supposed to be an outlaw on the move and all, but I would really love to be able to own a house, and even an apartment. If we can't own a house, maybe even an apartment in like Saint Denis, because that city has just so many buildings that could be possible living quarters for players. And we look at some of these nice houses in the game, like we look at Angelo Bronte's mansion, we look at the mayor of Saint Denis' mansion. I have over $101,000 in this game, and that was a massive fortune back then. Why am I limited in living in such a small camp? I have all this money, but there's not too many things that I could spend it on. So, they could add more things to spend it on, and one of those great things would be properties. And if you're going to add a house as a property, please, Rockstar, please, add customization, because I'm going to tell you right now, if you just add houses in an update, people buy them. It's going to get boring really quickly. You have to have customization, and have good customization. Let us move around the furniture. Let us change the colors on the walls. Let us place rugs and different furniture and ornaments at different places. Let us move things around in the house so that not everybody's houses look the exact same. And also add some activities into the house, maybe some poker that you could play with friends, dominoes, other things that you can do inside the house, just so that it's not boring. But please, Rockstar, add properties. I guarantee if you add it, it will be very popular. And one final thing, they could also make properties where you can actually build them. They can make buildable properties, kind of like in the single-player campaign, where, you go in the catalog, you pick out a specific cabin, and then you have to get resources. So you have to get, like, wood, other resources out in the world, and then you can actually craft and build a house. If that was a feature, I guarantee you a lot of people would actually have a lot of fun building houses. So Rockstar, please consider this idea. At number 2, we have add an outlaw role. Now, we know that it's only a matter of time before more roles are added. Rockstar, they added the trader role, the bounty hunter role, the collector role, the Frontiers Pursuits update in September of 2019. Then they added a moonshiner role in December of 2019. So they're going to add more roles in the future. And Rockstar kind of talked about a possibility of an outlaw role in the future, and also about, revamping the collector role, but they didn't really go into too much detail. And the number one question that I get during Reddit Online streams is, what role do you want to see added to Reddit Online? I want to see an outlaw role. I want to see a role that's specifically a bad guy role. Some kind of role that, allows us to do, criminal activities, robbery, kidnappings, holdups, different kinds of things to make us money in an evil way. Because a lot of the activities that we already have in the game, they're focused towards high honor players. And I mean, you can get low honor by, killing the targets in bounty hunt missions, but most people aren't going to do that. So there should be a role that specifically gives you low honor. And I was thinking that for an outlaw role, why doesn't an outlaw role have access to specific activities like, different bank robberies, train robberies, coach holdups, kidnappings, all different kinds of activities that will be suitable to an outlaw. And maybe bring in Angelo Bronte. Angelo Bronte could possibly be the boss. He plays a big role in this single player in Saint Denis, and since Reddit Online takes place before, he could be brought in to, an outlaw role DLC, something like that. Let us be the bad guy. Let us rob banks. Let us rob trains. And how this system could work is, imagine if there was like, a bank that would be open, at certain times. And these banks would be across the map. You would have a bank in Saint Denis, you'd have a bank in Armadillo, you'd have a bank in Blackwater, and you never know which bank is going to open when. And players, they could go into these banks and they could rob these banks, take the money out, kind of similar to this. And if people are wondering what this mission is, this is actually a story mission that was added in May of 2019. It's actually a bank robbery mission, but this is the only time we really get to rob a bank in Reddit Online, and this is specifically a story mission. So it's kind of, kind of fun the first time, but after the first time you play it, it gets repetitive. So let us rob banks, let us rob trains. Let us rob stagecoaches, and let us get a good amount of money in it. And, they could add some role-playing into this where, you could have, like, bounty hunter players go after people. And this could actually, give a valid reason for going after people with bounties, because people don't normally get a high bounty in this game. When people get over a $20 bounty, you can go and capture that player and collect that bounty, but people typically don't get those bounties because there's not many evil activities to do. An outlaw role could completely change this, and I really hope that Rockstar considers adding an evil bad guy role into this game. And the number one thing that I think should be added to Reddit Online is a purpose to the honor system. Now, honor plays a great role in the single-player story in Red Dead Redemption 2, and honor even determines what kind of ending you get in this main story. But in the online, honor does barely anything. Now, honor, what it does do in Reddit Online is it gives you access to certain missions. There are certain neutral missions where it doesn't matter what honor you have, so you can play them whenever. But there are certain story missions that you can only play with either low honor or high honor. And, while there is a purpose for that, people are just going to play these story missions once or twice, and then they're not really going to go back to them. And there are specific choices in some of these missions. Like in this choice, you can either choose to, take the outlaw's offer and let the outlaw go and pretend to the sheriff that you found the outlaw, bringing him the body of a gang member instead with the outlaw's hat. In this case, my team actually chose to, do the honorable choice in which we bring the outlaw in. And this was, a nice design on Rockstar's part, but this should be implemented on a wider scale and into free mode. And we should have specific activities in the world that are based on low and high honor, because most of the random events that you get in the world, they're either, neutral events or they're, honorable events. There's not really too many events that you can do a dishonorable thing. And one dishonorable event that I can think of is when you come across an NPC that sells you a map, you can actually shoot him, so not even pay for the map and take the map. They should have more activities like that. Maybe you see like a random stagecoach in the world. Maybe that's a random event, and you can go and rob that stagecoach, and you can get a lot of money in it, but your honor goes down. And this is kind of bridging into the outlaw role that I talked about earlier, but there should be a genuine purpose to low honor and high honor. And there shouldn't be a specific, bad way to play. There shouldn't be a right way to play, because most people, they have high honor in this game because they're going to be doing bounty missions, and when you do bounty missions, you get high honor. And it's kind of strange how when you do the right thing, you play as a good guy. It's actually easier to play as a good guy than as a bad guy, because in a lot of video games where you have the choice of being either a good guy or a bad guy, it's actually usually easier to play as a bad guy than a good guy, but in Red Dead Online, it's kind of the opposite. So this should be changed, and I think that there should be abilities in regards to honor, like certain characters that you have access to, maybe certain characters you don't have access to. And don't make high honor better than low honor, and don't make low honor better than high honor. Just make them different playstyles so people can mix it up. For instance, maybe if you have, high honor, you have discounts in shops. Maybe something like that. You have access to discounts in shops across the map, but what you don't have access to is you don't have access to robberies. So when you have low honor, you have access to specific random events that spawn that are maybe like robberies. Add role-playing to this. Like I said earlier, maybe the high honor players can have discounts across all the various stores, but then what happens is there's gangs in the world, and these new gangs would be more hostile to high honor players, while low honor players, they wouldn't have discounts in stores, but they would have access to things like robberies, and these gangs would not necessarily be hostile to them. They could actually be even friendly to them, and maybe make it so that low honor characters have access to specific characters, high honor characters have access to other characters they can interact with. Mix it up. Give a purpose to having low honor and give a purpose to having high honor. Don't make one better than the other. Add role-playing, because this is what this game needs. We need to be able to feel like an outlaw. If we want to be an outlaw, we want to be a bad guy in the Wild West, we should have that opportunity. We want to go and rob trains, we should be able to do that. If we want to be a good guy, we want to be a vigilante, we want to be a lawman, a bounty hunter, we want to stop the outlaws, you should be able to do that. And this can add the greatest gameplay ever. Imagine, really fun PvP, where a team of outlaws will go and hold up a train. They'll go rob that train, they'll take that train over, they will take the passengers as hostages, and then a team of bounty hunters, players that are playing as lawmen, vigilantes, could go and jump on that train and try to take the train back and release the hostages. And these don't have to be adversary modes. This can all be in free mode. This can all be in one big community, everybody playing together, everybody role-playing who they want to be in the Wild West. That's how Red Dead Online should be, at least in my opinion, and I see great potential in this, and Rockstar could really do something with this. I'm sorry about going off on this point for a long time here, guys, but I just really want role-playing in this game, and I want a purpose to the honor system. And you saw me interacting here with, Old Man Jones before. There's no purpose to honor at this moment. Like I said, just the specific story missions that are locked, and, when you're doing a trader resupply, you have a higher chance of getting a steal mission if you have low honor. Other than that, there's not really much purpose to the honor system. So I hope that you guys enjoy this video. If you agree with me and you think these things should be added to Red Dead Online, drop a like on this video, share this video. The more people see it, maybe Rockstar will too, and post this video on Rockstar's feedback page, because maybe they'll see it, and maybe they'll put some of this stuff in a future update. We never know. So I hope that you guys enjoy this video. Let me know what you think down below, and let me know any other ideas you guys might have. I'll see you on the next one. Take care, everyone.